Hey folks, my name's Dan Flower. I'm a solutions architect and security consultant currently focusing on AWS, and I would like to talk to you briefly about planning for and responding to security incidents within the cloud. So, assuming you've got all the basic stuff in place, so you've got IAM switched on with roles, you're not using the root account, you are using an MFA, you're logging everything, you've got your EC2 instances patched, there are still a number of activities that you should undertake in order to plan for a security incident within your landscape. Key amongst these is knowing how you will react for a compromise to each and every service that you have deployed. So, as an example, if I'm an attacker, then certain services present a particularly attractive target because they essentially render everything else academic in terms of the ability to compromise. So we're thinking about IAM, SDS, Cognito. These are things that if popped, it's pretty much game over, player one. But then further on from that, you've also got other attractive target services such as EC2, RDS, S3, EBS, ECS. These are all things which possess the ability to both process and store data. And so they become quite a ripe ground for someone wishing to execute unauthorized processes and store bits and pieces of data and so on, exploits and the like. And then there are other services which, in order to compromise, you would likely have had to have compromised one of those primary targets instead. So, for example, maybe cloud formation, auto-scaling, load balancing, Athena, SQS and so on. All these things you need to have at least compromised something else in some way in order to make use of. We're probably talking about IAM again in that case. Now, assuming you've got this plan in place for all your different types of AWS services that you've got deployed and that you understand how that works and how the access is managed, in the event that a security incident does occur, you're then left working out how best to respond. So, first thing, which services are compromised? Which credentials have been used to perform the attack? And how's that really worked? What's the route that they've taken through that system? And also, is it because of trusts that are in place or security groups that have been inherited? All that kind of stuff to understand how that attacker actually got in, where they got to, and what they've compromised. So then what have they really compromised then? Is it the confidentiality? Is it the integrity? Is it the availability of the platform? Have they used it to breach your corporate data, or have they used it as a jumping off point to DDoS somebody else, for example? So make sure to document everything, whether that's using describe commands from the API, screenshots from the management console, or just handwritten notes. Make sure you understand everything that's gone on and try not to remove or destroy anything. Always try to disable it. Maybe it's rotating access keys rather than deleting the user account or the role or whatever. And make sure that you can reference back to everything that went on and show and demonstrate to others and potentially even to law enforcement how that attack has actually taken place and what the impacts are. So, one of the things then about doing that is that in IAM you can add deny policies. So rather than just remove the policy or remove the user account, just add a policy which states deny for everything for the relevant user or group or whatever it is that's been compromised. So that you can then mitigate that attack, you can stem the tide of that attack without actually destroying all the evidence that you're capturing as this takes place. So once you've done all this, think about how you can best mitigate. Can you limit the access any further? Is there particular updates or patching that need to be applied that weren't already applied? Are there any zero-day attacks out there or security advisories from vendors? Start to really think about how you could recover from that in such a way as to prevent a future reoccurrence of that same attack. that's now 5 minutes and I'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much.